So hi, welcome to the Donny Chaingang with me, Matt Payne, here from the studio. Now, you might have noticed a little bit different intro tonight, and a quick one at that. Hearth presses from Innsbruckring and broadcasting for the UCI. Back in and onto the Chaingang very quickly. So tonight's programme will have some commentary, it will have some missing bits, it will have some gaps, and it will have some straight pictures. But at the moment, it's kind of like anything's still a bonus on the basis I'm still stood upright. And as you can see, irrelevant as always when it comes to mountain bikers and bikers with a reputation. It has to be said. Everyone's going to pedal the legs around and everybody gets beat at some point. So, what have we got in store for you tonight? Well, we're not going to drop in with Russ straight away. We're actually going to go straight across into the map and show you what we've got coming up. Now, as you can see, we're in Innsbruckring for the usual course, which has a leading of 0.2k 5 times 8.8 laps, which is 44 kilometres. We finish at the World Cup gantry, which is 44.2k in, and warm down's 1.8 kilometres. Now we are heading out and around what is one of the toughest circuits, and it means that Russ, our yellow beacon, will have his work cut out to keep everybody together. One man who won't have his work cut out is Mick Clark. Now Mick being replaced here by Vin Donahue. Unfortunately, the change happened too late to change over on the graphics, which means that Vinny's going to be our man sweeping at the back of the bunch, making sure everybody gets into the right place at the right time. If you've not seen it before, well, the profile, it is quite a hilly one. We come around this in a clockwise direction, making sure that we keep everything nice and tight together before climbing up onto the leg snapper climb, the left-hand side of the Velo viewer graphic, then dropping down the far side and dropping down in towards the sprint. So let's head across. I think our rider's already heading out from the start and underneath the gantry and heading out on to the course. We're going to jump in initially, I suspect, probably with our red beacon. That's going to be Vin Donahue, who's got quite a lot of work on today. As you can see, this is how fast it is. So his companion app still booting up. It is going to be a quick one tonight. Make sure we get everything nailed together. Let's take a little look at the riders whilst this gets itself sorted, and just watching the riders make their way out of town, just about in one blob at the moment. And here's our red beacon just making his way in and along. So we'll jump in with Finn. Live here as our riders head out on the Donny Chaingang, live here on the Downing Cycling YouTube channel. So hello, guess what? I'm back. A very busy little spell there where nearly didn't get a broadcast at all, quite simply because we did have a little bit of overlap between this and the preceding broadcast of the World Championships. However, what you'll find is that we are now back, and hopefully I should be here to the end, so fingers crossed. Watching the Chaingang whilst we're simultaneously making calls and watching something else at the corner of the air, always an entertaining moment. So just seeing Russ on his way in here. It's 25.5k coverage. You can watch the screen as well as I can. 270 watts, and Russ's heart rate already up at 106. He's been typing as well as messaging the group, just having to wait a little for him to come back together, but it's looking like Russ just on his way past, and indeed Bach was indeed German. So just taking a little bit of a check down. Looks like 80 days, just dropping back there just to give a little bit of a hand. Mr. Booker is I think doing the same. Let's jump in with Greg. I noticed Greg was in there. Let's see if we can get hold of Greg. Nope, looks like Greg just dropping back a little bit too much there. Craig Genther on his way back, Johnny Atkins, Mr. Gibbons in there, and Keith Richardson. Just good to see that Vin and the team at the back starting to sweep bodies up. So it looks like Carl Biggs on the gang once again. Good to have Carl back with us, just in with Mr. Richardson at the moment, as we make our way around once again. So coming up to 27k covered very shortly, and very much all the usual suspects are up here, up near the front. Because see Mr. Cooling in here, not to be confused with the other Darren. So there are two Darrens who belong to Bolsover and District Cycling Club. They're not interchangeable, I've discovered, and they're not the same people, even though both were simultaneously messaging me and having pretty much the same conversation with me just the other week. It's not the same person. Don't make that very rookie mistake. Now, looks like Michael Hodgson in here. Massive thanks to him and all the Stellaton. I know a number of people already receiving their prizes for completing all 6 stages of the Donny Chaingang does the Tour de France, and the gang working well together there and here. So everybody up and running. Speaking of Bolsover and District Cycling Club, it looks like I'm going to be doing another little jump across if we manage to do it, which is going to be the aim is going to be on the mic and help out my club, which is Bolsover District, with the hill climb. So a chance to get down and catch up with a few people, although I am going to be on the mic for it, I think, although we're definitely going to have the PA rolling on it. And the aim will be to make sure that we can bring all the action to life on the hill climb. Always good to watch people suffer, and remind me of quite why I rode so many hill climbs. Yes, it was lots of kilos ago. Yes, I've eaten lots of pizzas, drunk lots of beers. Something these guys aren't going to need to do, because the Go 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 has just gone. So here we go, the pressure is on. You can see the numbers starting to go into the red throughout the bunch. So here we go, Mr. Lindley on the move. Mr. Johnson up at the front, Daryl Tashal Waller on his way through, Steve Hilbert still up in the mix, Jeff Saysal up in here, AD Dench, Gareth Licence into the Go Go Go, Dick Samuel in here, Mr. Dowtry in, the man who is the self-professed potential winner of this thing. Stroke just wanted to know where the finish was to make sure he got it right after getting it slightly wrong last time. We can't all stay into the finish, but hopefully it's going to be Ash's turn this time round. So a quick run through the people just starting to fight in the back. Just seen Andy Singleton, looks like Jason Stevens, Gail Phillips in the mix here. Come on, Gail. Push, 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 get on the back of that group. Now is the time to go. So it looks like Gary Licence is getting to the Go Go Go. That was his target by the look of it. Good to see Barry Kipling in here, the organiser of the mountain bike marathon championships. And Barry in on the bike in this group number 2 up on the road at the moment. This is the main group number 2. They do have a few riders sandwiched in between, including Mr. Cooling, Gale. It looks like Stevens just hanging on the back of this group as Mr. Tom Lindley, young Mr. Lindley, in with the gang and getting stronger on his recovery from COVID. So working well in with that group. John Garfield doing a fantastic sprint during the week, trying to get on to John here. Great to see John working and putting in a fantastic finish. He's in here somewhere, he is, in the blue. He's very close to the Royal Marines colours, and interesting to see he's gone for a slightly different set of discs on that Pinarello this time around. We'd go for the DT Swiss wheels on there. Everybody knows the best wheels to put on the Halos. So Neil from the Crosscast in with the gang here. Altaf Hussein, fresh from his adventures, back with us. Another video now going to be coming out from Altaf. Looking forward to seeing how he's been riding. He's been enjoying his riding. Don't always have the pleasure of Altaf's company, but good to see him back with us. Neil on the front of the group. Got to say a big thank you to the guys at Gritty. If you think the packaging and the very environmentally friendly boxes that the winners prizes that went out for the all 6 prizes, got to say a massive thank you to Gritty and to Caroline for sorting those out for us. Look, superb, and certainly did the business. Just jumping back in with group number 2 here. Looks like Ted's in here from the DCG. Brian Dubash in here. Looks like Beefy from Cycleways in here. Looks like Owen Davis in this group as well. So Owen Davis just with Cannon for company at the moment. Greg Booker a long way back, then Carl Briggs. We're going to run up to the leading group if we can. It's easier said than done. And in with the team here, 29.9k. Quick refresh if you didn't see the details earlier. Then let's pull these up for you. And you have a total distance of 44.2k. It's basically 5 laps in total, each lap being 8.8k. I'll let you work out how far that is to go. Let's jump back into the live. Just following Mr. Touchall Waller up on the front. The real fireworks are still not being lit. The riders know that they need to run through and on to the climb of the Lake Snapper before they expend too much energy. I'm trying to find a certain Mr. Downing in this little lot. I suspect probably a little on the lake side to give Russ a call, but you never know. Let's have a look at his heart rate. I think Russ and I should just set a limit. Oh, definitely not calling Russ at 130 beats per minute. It wouldn't be a great sound, that is for sure. It'd be entertaining. That is be good TV. If you haven't watched the show from Tuesday, make sure you go and watch Tuesday's show, because Tuesday's show was rather entertaining, particularly in the back sort of last 13 minutes or so, as Russ and I had a little bit of one of those moments where we've been so involved in what we were doing we couldn't remember what was coming next. Definitely worth a watch, or in Russ's case a listen. So the team working well up at the front, the gang all together here as they head out on to the next section, of course, going back in and across the bridge. And the message board has gone incredibly silent all of a sudden. That is just because everybody's right on the limit. So Dan Ladle in the mix here. Great to see Dan in with this second group of riders here. Dan Culling in here. This is a nice big group number 2. We're going to have to take a little bit of a run up the road to get to group number 1, which is here. As we jump up into the skies as the riders go up and over the cobbles, you can just see Mike Killingsworth, and I think that's Carl Johnson with him for company. Have dropped Andres Dr. D is gone. He's out the back. You see Tim Cooper in with the gang at the moment. So Tim in here from Team Deloitte, and or should we say Sherwood Pine Cycles, as we make our way up on to the Snapper once again. So just watching those sort of power-ups going in, arrows, assistance, a reduction of drag, better drafting going in with the van, plenty of feathers being thrown down, and looks like everybody trying to fight to get up with our leaders here, but Cass working well here now. When we were in France, Cass was going great. He was riding strongly at the moment, though. It's Craig Genter And then it's Cass, and then it is going to be Darrell Wallaby, followed by Atkinson, Mason and Downing. But as you can see, as we've gone up over the top here, we get this up in the air, you can see the gaps really have opened up behind us. The moment you crest that hill and drop down the far side, things tend to splinter apart very, very quickly indeed. So on the way down, the riders pushing on. Mason in here as onto the front goes Cass. So it's Cass, Mason, Darrell Waller, Craig Genther, Johnny Atkinson and Russ Downing. They are our 6 riders in the lead. They have a gap of 6 seconds over 80 Dench. It's going to be another second back, about 9 metres to Neil. It's just closing down on them. Just taking a check on those gaps between. You've got to be a little bit careful because remember the time checks are not entirely accurate on the right hand side of your screen compared to what you can see with the Mark 1 human eyeball across the screen. We're looking in the background behind these riders, just looking to see where the next group is. So at the moment that gap is going to be about 7 seconds would be my estimation of that gap. And we'll get a good view of that as these riders start to come in towards the sprint. We'll see if the sprint time goes down. It is already a 23-second sprint. It's quite a long sprint. It's 300 metres. But the gap to the riders behind at the moment, Craig Herring, just trying to push his way across this group. And it looks like he could well be dragging a number of riders with him here. In the front group, we're going to have to pay attention here because there are ones and twos. It looks like Craig Herring, 80 Dedge, along with Neil from the cross, Cass from Gritty, just starting to make the way across behind. And then OZK and Kooslugs also pushing onwards to try and close this gap down. So through our riders go, and it looks like we're seeing some PBs going in. Craig Herring doing a 21.72. Dench in, Herring now in. Neil from the crosscast about to make the junction behind. You can just see him in the distance there. So it looks like another racing excuse from Ash Dowtree, yanking the trainer plug out, giving it big beans up the hill. Let's see if he's back in. So, this is the gang. This is who is going to see who is going to take this from the front. We're on the run into the line once again. So it's Tatchell, Waller, Herring, Genther, Downing, Cass, Mansfield, Mason, Atkinson, Dench, all in this group at the front. Well, good to see Darrell Shawwell hasn't lost his sense of humour. Good group till somebody smashes it in a minute. Man who might smash it might be him. Indeed, Mr. Herring, I quite agree with you. Nothing, not going to be anything strange about watching Mr. Shawwell give it some gas into the finish. But I think with the distance we've got to go, this group are going to have to be a little careful. They do have chasers behind, so let's drop back to the nearest groups. So it looks like Runnett trying to push his way across 5 watts per kilo. OZK, Kooslugs, Osman, Richardson. This group here with looks like Tim Cooper in there, Martin's in there, Pearson a little further back from this group, 15 seconds down. So our leading group, then you got Simon Runnett trying to get across the gap. Then 4 seconds behind him. There's going to be the gang chasing Runnett at the moment, just trying to get onto the back of this group. If we take a little bit of a jump up in the sky, should be able to see him in the distance. He's a diminutive figure in the background. The leading group are pretty much all together at this stage, and still looking relatively smooth, with nobody pushing the plunger down, nobody kicking in the afterburners, having wings on the wheels, or any of the other hackneyed commentary phrases that you've come to know and love from commentators over the years. No, I'm not going to start talking about why for dinner or about cheese in a true classic Duffield. So Martin in here, nice little group here. Martin, Cooper, Morn from the Stelton. He's got Coos, looks from the Stelton in there as well. Looks like Osman in the group. That's Russell Osman. So a nice working group here. 5 riders. If they work together, they could close that gap down, I think, on the 2 riders in front. The 2 riders, that is OZK and Coos looks there. Then it's going to be a run up the road. Then it's going to be a run up to the beacon as they start to make their way along here now. Have we got a rider trying to play silly? What's it? So go off the front, or is Neil from the crosscast just rolled away off the front gently? If he went for an explosive power option, I'd certainly missed it on the way past the seismic waves, not reaching from Leicestershire up into South Yorkshire, Derbyshire area. That's not noticeable down underground where I am, down in the studio. So Neil from the crosscast being left to dangle by this group behind. And Neil certainly still keeping sitting at that 5.5 watts per kilo. So a lot of watts. This man got a new FTP when he was riding on Tuesday. Can he replicate that now? This is the chasing group behind. So just riding in with Mason, kicking out big numbers here, and I think they are going to get pulled back across here. You see Herring on the front of the pack with Cass and Genther, and they are pursuing the rider in front. Jump in with Russ. Russ heart rate has dropped here now, down to 130 beats per minute at the moment, as they start to make that catch behind him. It's only 4 seconds back to Simon Runnett, so Runnett's consistent riding here. He's pulling him back in, reaching distance of the group in front of him. This is going to be tight. It's going to be close. Now, Kooslugs and OZK together. They've still got 5 seconds on Richardson, Osman, Martin, Morn, Cooper. A little bit further back than Garford leading this group. It's got quite a number in. And again, this is why we like this course on the Chaingang. This is a good working group. They've got to work together. If they work together, they will pull back single riders in front. They can make positions, make time. And once that go, go, go has gone. Running up the road now, we're just going to keep an eye on them. Pillsworth is working well in here, so we're just going to have to take a little bit of a run up the leaders just around the turn here, and it is Neil's been reabsorbed in here, and you can just see still working well on the front there, as just coming up on the Pinarello with the disc in, with that multicolour disc, is a Dench. So Dench has come equipped for some fairly flat riding. Interesting to see a mix of Tron bikes along with aero bikes, non-aero bike and a lighter bike for Neil there, but the majority go for lightweight and aero bikes like the Pinarello with discs on as well. Well, definitely a ride of the day there, going to this man, Mr. Runnett. Not just making the catch, but blasting his way through the group quite comfortably there. So Runnett doing the catch, getting across the group, making the catch, going off the front. Now he's got to do some recovery here. We're going in and along this back section of town here. We're going to be on to those cobbles fairly shortly, and then we'll be heading back across and over the bridge. But at the moment you can just see Tatchell Waller. Well, we wondered how long it would be. He said not long till somebody smashes it, and we did suggest it might be Mr. Tatchell Waller himself. Guess what? He's put his foot down a little bit here, so looks like Darrell Now it's just trying to stretch this out. He's got a little bit of a gap here. I think there was a little bit of complacency in the group once Runner had just made the catch. And the pressure really started to go on here. So it is Darryl Tatchell-Waller on the front. Simon Runnett now being left to do the work. It's pretty mean of the guys. He's literally just got back on. I know he's shown he's strong, but he is literally just back onto the back of the group. And now being left to do the chasing down. And guess who's coming over the top? It's Runnett once again. So Simon Runnett, and I know Simon with a double day dose of the Downing Cycling blend of coffee, which you can get from the gang. So Mr. Runnett, ask him where's the front. Mate, you're it. You are the front. We have a few people that you are in danger of catching. You've got, I think, Mr. Booker, who is not off the front. If you watch the distances on your right-hand side, you'll see that he is a whole lap behind as you come through. You can also tell that by the watts per kilo. So Craig gets it on the way there. So here we go, on to the climb they go. Big kicks coming in now as we go in towards the real ascent here. This is the big kicker. This is the big chance to blow people apart. And look what Mason's had up his sleeve. He's using a feather power up. He's taking 10% off. So that's at least 8.5 kilos straight off the top here. As he comes up here, massive, massive sprint coming as he goes up onto the top of this climb. But behind him, the chase is on. And it's Russ leading the chase at the moment, but he's going to have a huge gap as he goes over the top. It's 4 seconds. So Mason putting in a kick, now doing some recovery, if you can recover at 6 watts per kilo. Round that turn he goes, and look at the gap that's going to open up here. 7 seconds, 8 seconds. At the moment, it's 8, nearly 10 seconds to Downing. Downing is the nearest rider. I think Russ has just shut the throttle off here. He's got the aero reduction on the way in there, but it has caused all sorts of damage behind Mason. So Mason at the moment leading this out. A blistering attack by Mason, absolutely destroying everybody. Downing's left in second place. Cass chasing him in third. Tatchell-Waller in fourth. Genther in fifth. Atkinson in sixth. Seventh is going to be Herring. Eighth, probably Dench at the moment, and probably only Herring and Dench, maybe Neil from the Crosscast in touching distance with each other. The rest of them, well, they have been absolutely blown to pieces by the power of Mason going up over the top. Everyone may be thinking he was going to leave it to a sprint. Well, that definitely didn't happen today here on the Donny Chaingang live on the Downing YouTube channel with me, Matt Payne. It is a real blistering attack from the man who has led this out in style into this final few K. Absolutely giving it massive, massive beans up the leg snapper, and he snapped legs aplenty back there because you can see that gap. It is just gone, absolutely gone. In fact, I've probably got time to go get a coffee in between him coming in and the rest of the riders coming in. Harsh, I'm afraid, but sadly true, because you can just see Craig Edford just coming back over the top of Russ Downing. Currently sits at 15 seconds back. The nearest group to Mason, well, it's this group here. This is in the black Tatchell-Waller. In the blue, that is Cass. And then you've got the bear himself, Fozzie Downing, in behind him as well. They're all chasing, and look at that, straight still left in Mason's legs to set a new personal best of 22.72. Not taking the fastest time through there, but you can see Craig Genther also putting in a 22. It's 22.84 this time round. Cass going in with Tatchell-Waller. Atkinson getting a new PR behind them. Herring, Dench, Runner, Neil from the Crosscast. They're all in pieces. They're in bits. This is the next biggest group. They're not yet reached the sprint line to even start kicking in. Now, Red Beacon is just around the bridge here with Donahue, and they are going to have Mason coming up behind them fairly shortly. So the riders are all going to be basically on the same lap. Nobody getting lapped today, and that makes a change. as these riders go round. So we're just keeping an eye. I don't think they got laps on the way through. Excuse me. So it looks like it is going to be Mason who is going to take the victory now at 21 seconds. There's no drama about will he be caught or won't he? He's only going to get caught if he gets abducted by aliens and dropped back in a mile back. So here we go. Mason heading in for the line with a gap. Question will be now really who's going to take second place. Craig Genther has put an attack in here in pursuit, and he is working well here. He's got the gap on Tatishul, Waller and Downing. Genther's putting in a monstrous kick here, but Mason is absolutely. So here we are. It is Mason now in sight of the gantry, that world gantry up in front here. It's the final arch as he's heading in for the line. Tatchell Waller definitely not doing a turn with Downing up there, that's for sure. I wouldn't be doing Russell turn in the last few K. I mean, everybody knows what he can do when it comes to sprinting. There's plenty of pro riders that would attest to Russ being able to wallop them, but this is the man who has done the business. It is going to be the fat cyclist is Gareth Mason. Behind him then it's going to be Craig Genther's going to be in for second. And I think Cass is likely to be battling it with Downing here. So just going to take a look here. Dowtatchul Waller, the end of the group of three riders coming in, with Downing and Cass coming in front of him. And they're definitely blaming it on something else now. It looks like Herring and Adi Dench coming through, with Johnny Atkinson chasing. Runnett just coming through ahead of Neil from the Crosscast. And it's going to be about 44 seconds for the gang behind. This is the next chasing group. So Neil from the Crosscast in and through the line. This is going to be a sprint out here. Who is going to take this now? We've got some fast legs in here when it comes to a sprint. We've got Tim Cooper, we've got Keith Richardson, we've got Martin here. Ozake cannot be discounted by any stretch of the imagination when it comes to hitting this. We're riding in with Cooper in the green at the moment as he makes his way up. He's alongside, I think, here. Kuslugs just coming up. He's trying to get Kuslugs. Can he get Kuslugs? He's on the front. Can he hold it, though? That gantry's coming. It's going to be oh so tight here. He's got to keep pushing, keep pushing. It's close. Oh, Cooper just taking that. Morn again shows why he's just so quick, and sprint is absolutely amazing as he comes in and through. Richardson through Martins through Osman. Pillsworth I think just headed in towards the line. Pillsworth has put in a power up here, but he's got to contend with people like Crease and Lindley at the moment. So Crease is right up near the front. I'm not sure he's going to have enough here to hold off Lindley. We're just with Lindley now. So Lindley comes up on Crease's wheel, keeps on kicking. He's got that timing superb. So Lindley comes to ahead of Crease and Pillsworth. Rich Orrell. It's going to be Andy Singleton going through ahead of John Pearson. I think it's John. Let me just have a double check on the names. Always dangerous to get the names wrong on the way through. Then it's going to be Garfoot coming through, and then it's going to be Samul being followed in towards the line by Jeff Saysel. The Welsh rider not in touch on the way into the finish here. So Saysel then going to be should be Mr. Ambrose following him in, and then Gibbons up to the chase really breaking up in those last few meters. It's Jamie Pearson, my apologies, Jamie. So Jamie Pearson. So Jeff Saysel is going to be our next finisher. He's just on his way into the gantry. We're going to drop back a touch because as he goes through the line, we're going back to Ambrose. Ambrose chasing all the way, but now knows that all he needs to do is hold off the sprint. The sprint coming from Carl Johnson here. Carl's gone for the map cap on backwards to try and get the maximum aero, but it looks like just holding them off was Saysel. So Saysel, Johnson, Derby going through. And then Mr. Dubash, Dr. D himself, going through ahead of birthday boy Tim Baggs. I think it's Tim's birthday, if I'm not much mistaken. Happy birthday, mate. What a way to spend it on the Donny Chaingang. Barry Kipling in and through. Looks like Gibbons coming through as well. Next up is the man that is not Darren Billings, but Darren Cooling. The DCG rider doing a good ride again. And ahead of Stevens, Altaf Hussein. And I think it's going to be Altaf who gets that. So Altaf from Stevens, from Hilbert, from Andres, and then I think it's going to be a drop back to Beefy from Cycleways. So Colin Bell just ahead, I think, of Gail Phillips and Hayward here. So just going to have a little bit of a zoom in. I think that's going to be Keith Hayward just on the front there in the pink and grey. Then it's going to be Bell immediately behind Wallace, then Gail Phillips, and then I think it's going to be Bobby Mason on the way through. So it looks like Wallace is going to lead this one out. He's out the saddle earlier, 8.1 watts per kilo, 8.5. Beefy from Cycleways trying to respond, trying to go past. You can see less watts per kilo, but not losing ground on Wallace. And that is going to be due to the draft. Now he kicks in. This is going to be a good sprint here by Bell. He's going to come in. He's going to take this sprint. Wallace pushed him hard early on. Didn't quite have the strength to hold him off. Next in should be Gail Phillips. Gail going to be the first of our female riders in and through the line. Good riding by Gail. Then it's going to be Bobby Mason immediately on her wheels, and then it's going to be I think Malin going in towards the line. So it's going to be Paul Malin, then it's going to be Cannon Briggs, Dan Ladle. I think then it's likely to be Vin and Sarah, Miss Cookie. So Paul Malin comes in and across the line. So it just looks like it's really busy. Multiple streams going simultaneously, always entertaining here. So Bobby Mason, Gail Phillips, Colin Bell through, Paul Malin through. Cannon is going to be our next rider in towards the line. He's just trying to hold off the sprint here from Ladle. Dan Ladle's coming. Ladle's pushing hard here. Can he get past him? Oh, he sits down. No, it is going to be Cannon, then Ladle. Then it's going to be Mr. Briggs coming through. So good riding by Briggs. You see how much that took out of Dan's legs. He's already back off the pedals here. So our riders in and through. Don't forget, if you're a member of the DCG gang, the Donny Chaingang Supporters Club, make sure you get your renewals in. If you're a member of a monthly, we've actually got the 6-month open as well. You do need to do that before the end of the month. Tuesday next week is the next ride, the last ride of August. The ride after that will be the 1st of September. So just checking out, just seeing that one of our regular riders, the man who sent us a message from the Tour de France, Connor Swift, put in a great ride. So Connor, in an area I know exceptionally well in the Tour Poitou-Charentes, has taken the leader's jersey. Absolutely fantastic job, mate. So congratulations to Connor, and well done. That is a great ride by him. To take the jersey out in the Charente. Really hilly, really light riding around home, around South Yorkshire, and the Peak District. A really tough ride, and great to see another great ride by somebody out on the who's normally riding the Donny Chaingang as well as out live as well. So good riding by Connor, and congratulations to him. We've got our 2 riders coming along the cobbles. They've got to go along the cobbles, and they'll be heading back in and round once more, in and through the finish. So looks like Vin and Miss Cookie putting in some good miles out there. Vin and Cookie on a cracking ride tonight. So off the cobbles come, and in around the turning, going to be heading up to the leg snapper. That's the next point of pain for these two riders, Sarah Grimshaw and Vin Donahue. Vin, one of our many riders, and massive thank you to Vin for dropping into that role. I know Mick Clark absolutely gutted he couldn't ride it as Red Beacon. I know I've been looking forward to it, but unfortunately not able to ride as Red today, and that meant the work commitments, meaning that he had to jump out last minute. It means that Vin Donahue jumped in last minute. Fantastic to see him get into the mix so quickly. So Vin and Sarah on the way up this leg snapper climb for the final time. The riders are working hard up here. It is a horrible climb. I've done it plenty of times in Zwift, and I must admit, it's not my favourite climb by any stretch of the imagination. It's a really nasty gradient. It's fairly consistent. It's just too long to sprint over. Well, unless you're called a certain Mr. Gareth Mason, who went flying up that like there was no tomorrow. So up to the top of the climb they come. This is the point at which it all opens up. The gaps open if everybody goes up and around at the right pace. So down the descent goes Vin, and I think Miss Cookie is going to be chasing to get onto Vin's wheel. Vin, of course, capable of racing up to the front as well as at the back. Going to be a real battle. So it looks like Cookie chasing back towards Vin Donahue. You can just see that red beacon in front, a target to be chased down. So look at this, Cookie back in front of Finn once again. These two riders working well together, and great to see two riders who know well out in action. Both consistent riders, both regular riders on Donny Chaingang. Remember, the Chaingang is for everyone. We don't leave anyone behind, as the saying goes. We certainly cover everybody as they come into the finish. And interesting, the different choices of bike and wheels here by these two riders. Finn riding on a fairly aerodynamic bike, but going for the full-on disc option. Although they are the lightest disc, helps on pretty much everywhere but the steepest of uphills. Sarah going for twin deep rims, a little bit easy to kick up to speed and up to pace. So Vin going nicely through that sprint line, as does Sarah. Both these riders setting a new personal best time on the way through. So some good numbers coming out here, and good to see 2.5 to 3 watts per kilo by both our riders here, pushing nicely round this corner. The question is Cookie going to give him a kick in the sprint? We know Sarah has been racing the National Mountain Bike Series and has been riding really strongly in that. Her technical ability really does come to the fore. She weaves through those trees and gets the power down. And remember, lots of riders on different types of ride as well. So we have people like Sarah who may be on a recovery ride from a hard training session. All we ask, stay with yellow as long as you can. When you've dropped off, if you're going to be running all the way to the finish, make sure you let the red beacon know to look after you. If you're going to jump off early, equally, if you let the beacons know, they then know whether to keep the race open for you or not. Needing, of course, to shepherd and make sure everybody's all okay and in one piece. Round that final turn come Vin Donahue and Miss Cookie now. And you can see Cookie now hopefully just waiting to pounce on Vin and give him a bit of a pace. I know Vin kicking at 3 watts per kilo here. I don't think Vin's going to hand this over. I think he's going to go for a little bit of an early push just to try and weaken the legs. Maybe he's a bit scared that he's going to get out sprinted on the way in. We know that people's reputation, particularly if they're a rider who rides a national scene, can often go before them. So whilst our riders are onto their final stretch, heading into the final couple of corners, just let me remind you, if you are a member of the DCG Gang, the Donny Chaingang Supporters Club, and you want to donate again so that we can keep sending out the links and hopefully meet to membership of the DCG Gang, the Donny Chaingang Supporters Club, for the rest of the year, for September. Make sure you get those donations in and make sure you rejoin before we get into Wednesday. There are a set number of times we can get those links out to you. We don't want to have to email them individually, so they'll always try and send them out in the newsletter with all of the details in the ride. Don't forget, of course, if you're a member of the DCG Gang, you will also get discount codes. I've got to say a massive thank you to Halo, OTE, Velaskin, 1080, to the guys at Gritty, and to Grand Tour Coffee, as well as Velo Viewer, for all of their support of the Donny Chaingang, as well as lots of others. You'll see them scrolling through at the start and the finish, people like Nonnas and Muckoff and so on. All the guys looking after us, and got to say a big thank you. They look after our riders on the Chaingang week in, week out. So here we go, into and through the finish to go, with Sarah Grimshaw pushing on ahead of Vin Donahue, doing a great job there, and great to see the beacons in action as Vin continues to push. Just the warm down to do now. So as our riders make the way into that warm down stretch, let me say thank you for watching. Make sure you subscribe to the Down in Cycling YouTube channel. If you've got some time, grab a view of the Mountain Bike World Championship. Some amazing rides going in, some rides definitely to celebrate, and hopefully some riders we know doing the business. Keep an eye on Connor, as I'm doing on screen behind me, because he's just taking the leader's jersey in the Tour Poitou Charente. And don't forget, of course, if you fancy looking at after the Chaingang, then jump on it. I've got plenty more to come. Have a great weekend. Hope to catch up with you soon. from me, Matt Payne. We'll see you soon.